Recent studies in Britain suggest the country's most rapidly growing demographic is Muslim. And the trend's stirring trouble with native Brits, who say their government is simply too scared to face the problems caused by the obvious immigration boom.
Between the years of 2001 and 2011, nearly 4 million immigrants came to the UK as part of an immigration boom under the former Labour government.
The truth is the public were ahead of us in seeing some of the problems of migration because they were seeing them in their own communities.
Critics say the government is too frightened to address what Britain will look like in 50 years' time.
It's going to look like Islamabad, basically. It's going to be a complete population change. The indigenous population is shrinking anyway. The younger generation, the younger Muslim generation, is becoming increasingly radicalised. And I personally think it's going to lead to civil unrest in by 2025, 2030, possibly civil war.
And authorities are now increasingly under fire for downplaying the race and religion factor in crimes.
Gangs of men lure vulnerable young girls, some as young as 10, with presents in order to gain their trust. Then they force them to take drugs, rape them, and finally they sell them off into prostitution.
We have to accept that, yes, white people can also be victims of racial crimes, and I'd say these girls were such victims.
The reported gangs are made up of Muslim men. Their victims, young white girls. The reported gangs are made up of Muslim men. Their victims, young white girls.
This is not India or Pakistan, this is England. We've got our own laws. People haven't got a right to come in here and bring their laws in here.
But Chowdhury and his group say they've formed bands of vigilante enforcers to make sure Sharia is adhered to, verbally or physically. And in other parts of London, women have already been harassed for not covering their heads. If these Muslims ever get their way, I won't be able to dress like this on the streets of Walthamstow or many other parts of London.